All right, we may as well get this show on the road. Start talking some business. Scully, over there with the big palm tree wave. I call it the palm tree wave. That's probably not accurate. And you've got here on the left side of the screen, King Puffy. That's Scully's cat and my arch foe. Always getting in the way of the hell. And right there in the middle, you have yours truly, Nayfe Pacewell. And everybody, reapers, merchants, gold hoarders, pirates of all, welcome to the first lecture room, the AIU Open Discussion stream. We got a lot to go through today for our first one. We got Scully, King Puffy, myself, everyone, welcome, just in case you guys missed that. We're going on about the making of the AIU. Jesus. Puffy, relax, mate. All right, so yeah, we'll be going through the making of the AIU, our first project, which was the Eclipses, and the recent updates. We'll touch on Duke and the mysterious things that he's been getting up to. So we'll get stuck straight into it. We got Skulliah in the chat here. He's going to be maintaining all of your questions as we go, because I can't actually see it while I go through the dialogue for tonight. But we'll ask some questions and we'll talk later. We'll have a segment at the end there. But yeah, without further ado, is that correct? When the AIU started, guys, when it all started, it was a group effort pretty much right from the get-go. The original motive came from the eclipse tracking, which I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's the eclipse tracking that myself and Puny Weakling would get up to. You know him probably from Twitter as Sea of News. If you don't, go drop him a follow, you'll find him. But yeah, we got all of our stuff together and we had trouble tracking it. You know, we had trouble keeping up with all of the data. So we needed a place to keep it all in one spot, our clips research, and just have an easier way to share it with those that were trying to get it all all collected together. Just the occurrence schedules, the pictures and things. I can't quite remember who had the initial idea for Discord, but it was pondered on for a little while before Puny mentioned that more people were keen. More people were interested in joining in, which meant we needed a space. We needed somewhere to talk with it. They're all ready to jump onto the science wagon. So I went ahead, just made a server, got things rolling, just somewhere that we could all chat and share our findings. And I had just a whimsical idea to get it all set up as like a place of study, you know, like a college or a university or what have you. Just as something fun, you know, for when the lads joined in. I gave it a little bit of a fancy side. We put a Sea of Thieves themed name on it, which just kind of stuck. Wouldn't it, Scully? Just kind of hung about, didn't it? A little bit too well, if you ask me, honestly. But yeah, as quick as the server was made up, Skulliah was in game. Oh, look at that. There is a kraken attacking that poor sloop back there. That'll be fun. It's great to have in the background. But yeah, as quickly as we had the server up, Skulliah entered the picture with his idea of the storm tracker, and he showed us his website, and that shit just blew our mind. It was crazy, just the stuff that he had. We needed... It will need its own episode to talk to you about it. If I'm not careful, I'll ramble all day. But yeah, it's amazing. We'll drop links later on. If you haven't seen it, check that shit out. Yeah, anyway, from that point on, Scully had taken the server to all new heights. That's why we made him our technician. He's the things this guy knows, unreal. But he took it to places that we would never have expected. Expeditions were underway. Different fields of study started popping up as more of our friends joined in. It started, you know, talking about all sorts of stuff: astronomy, meteorology, anthropology, and historical studies with the lore and the skeleton runes, all with their own teams of researchers working on projects together from places all over the world. It was insane. But we became a nice little family, sharing a love for everything we can do in game and everything we can learn about it. And it really evolved into something incredible, at least for me. I mean, like from being here from the early days of the AIU, I'd never imagined it would become so much to so many people, much less what it is just to us inside it as we discuss. But yeah, I can't wait to see where we end up with like another year down the line. We've been running for about a year now, give or take. But yeah, it's been mental. Scully, you got an input, mate. Like that's pretty much the creation of the AIU there. I'm sure if you guys have any questions about it, Skulliah will be able to fill you in on the details in the chat as I ramble on. But yeah, from the making of the Ancient Isles University, we had our first project. Oh, does it? Oh God, I'm a goose, aren't I? There we go. Scully, I had the HUD off. I'm sorry, mate. Mate, I'm the biggest flop. That's all right. Noted. There he is, up there in the corner. Jesus. I'm a buffoon. But I will not delay anymore. He's here now. Our first project, that was the Eclipse cycle. I don't know if you guys know about the eclipses in Sea of Thieves. You've probably seen them pop up on social media at the very least, but if you haven't seen one, I hope you see one soon. But yeah, it had, before we put it into the AIU, it already had a lot of its research pretty much done. You know, we had like spreadsheets and stuff made up. We could successfully predict them by this point. But we couldn't really discuss, you know, and if we wanted to share our spreadsheets, it was just copy and pasting a link constantly in messages. So the Discord was a perfect place. Boom, link's right there, you need it, it's right there. Sharing your pictures, everything was awesome. But from that, it set it all in motion. You know, that's where everything kind of adapted from the eclipse. It was really a pivotal part of getting to where we are now, which is why I want to talk about it today. But it was back in about 2019, would you say, Scully? Somewhere around there. But yeah, Puny and I, we began our quest to narrow it down. We knew there was one, so we had to find it. But we just sat and waited. We were taking information from Twitter, trying to get timestamps. It was something back there. Yeah, it was about 2019. But yeah, we knew that there was going to be a cycle because there was a moon cycle. And if the eclipse happens once, it's going to repeat. So all we had to do was find that repetition because the moon follows the loop endlessly. So it had to repeat, and our quest was to find that repetition. And we thought we could get there. I think they added them in game with Forsaken Shores. See, I'm not sure because I seen them way back. Like, we're talking way back, man. I just messed up my thingy. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. There it is. Yeah, I remember seeing them, you know, like, oh God, it's been so long, it all kind of just mashes into it. Yeah, the sun was bigger in the Devil's Roar, so it was definitely a lot more noticeable. But yeah, when we were looking for it, it was all about just trying to get information, much like what we're doing with the Shrouded Ghost study. We're just trying to get timestamps. We're trying to get when it happened in game and out of game, real life timestamps. And then we're going to try and piece those together, but it was getting nowhere. It was getting flat out nowhere because they were so rare, you know, they were occurring so few, and we just couldn't get the data in the time that we were happy with. So that didn't work. It wasn't until one day when I was sailing with my regular crew on just a normal session. When we finished up, the sun was going down in the west there, and we're just kind of watching it, as you do at the end of a session. And I'm just looking, and then I saw the moon kind of appear as the sun went in, and it was close. I was like, man, that's like a few days away from passing the sun. So I was like, bugger it, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for it to happen. I was positive of it, so I thought, to hell with it, I'll wait to see if it does. So I sailed my way off to, keep him quiet, man. He's pretty excited today. But yeah, I sailed up to Keelhaul Fort and just waited for the 4 or 5 game days to see it. And when it did, sure enough, I got it 2 days in a row, and that was unbelievable because the first day was the first eclipse in the west, and then the next day the second one happened. And then this is what further blew my mind, is that after one game day passed, another 2 occurred in the east. That's 4 eclipses in 5-hour session. I rarely ever seen one every, months? Like, that was how rare they were occurring, and now I'm seeing 4 in a 5-hour sit. And that was unbelievable. And I was like, yep, that solidified it. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to get all the information I can. I'm going to watch that moon until it comes around and it happens a second time. And just time it, see how long had passed. And sure enough, 12 hours I sat for. 12 hours. Oh, hi. That's me just trying to make sure I don't AFK. But I sat there just watching the moon, taking note of its positions as it went around before I got the holy grail of Sea of Thieves astronomy. The eclipse cycle was successfully recorded. 11 hours, 12 minutes, 11 hours and 12 fucking... Guys, you don't understand how big that was for me, sitting and doing nothing. Doing nothing. I had to resist the temptation of everything in Sea of Thieves that called to me. Other players, forts popping up. No, ignore it. It is a long time to sit and do nothing. It really, really is. And I went straight onto Puny Weakling. I was like, mate, here it is. We've got it. And he wrote up the spreadsheet for us that allowed us to see them in advance. And then I was able to get ready and get some nice little screenshots to just kind of flex it. I was so proud. But now we can, from that point on, we can now predict every eclipse coming up, what time it is. It was definitely. And from that point, that's why the AIU got so much passion from me, because it was like, oh, there's shit to be found. Excuse my French. There's stuff to be found out there. There's things that we can discover, and it was curious to know what else there was. But yeah, again, the trouble was losing, links and stuff. Links disappear, and they get buried in messages, and that's why we were like, bugger it. AIU, up she comes. And that's pretty much, the story of the eclipse. It was a pretty big time back then. And that was not long before after that Skully joined in. And then it's just been nowhere but up from there. If you got any questions about the eclipse, feel free to chuck them in the chat there. Unfortunately, I cannot see the chat while I'm reading my dialogue, as I mentioned, so Skully will be doing his best to keep up with things. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did. You put the tracker onto the website. We gave you all of the information. And dude, that is dressed up so good too. Like it even gives me how long ago things were, what time in my time zone. I don't even have to set that. It just does it. Like, you went above and beyond with that stuff, man. Much like the storm tracker, but we'll talk about that on the next episode next month when we have the time for it, because that'll be a topic on its own. It was a big project, probably one of the biggest we've done. But up next, our final topic for tonight, which will probably take up a lot. We have a question about that's something that we'll talk about that at the end of this. I'll quickly go through touching on this recent update with the skeleton runes and Duke moving locations, and then at the end of that we'll do a big open discussion. I'll open the chat. We'll answer any questions you have live and make sure we fill you in on all the details. But up until then, I'll get this done nice and quick. I'm sure you've all got plenty of questions that you want to be asking, and we'll get into that very, very soon. So, right before we close up for YouTube, the recent updates in skeleton runes. This has been teasing my brain so much. I don't know if I'm the only one that's been losing sleep over this, but I've been losing sleep over this. These runes, oh God. But Duke has been busy these past few months getting up to his mysterious adventures again. What are we up to this time, eh? Have we tried to find out if the eclipses do anything? That's a good question. That's a good question. We are actually trying to find out some things. Perhaps. But yeah, we're not sure entirely. There has been certain evidence that I don't exactly want to dive into too deeply, simply because we aren't sure. We don't want to give you false hope in something that we ourselves don't actually know for sure. So until we get extra data, all will be spoken of. But we are looking into possibilities, yeah. There's something there that's raised an eyebrow, so we're going to dig that up. More about that probably a little bit later on. But anyway, Duke is up to his business. What is he up to this time, Scully? What do you think he's getting up to? Because I know personally, I'm not entirely sure. Like there's evidence there, but still, it's got me scratching my head. But I do know he's meddling things. Yeah, he's looking for something. He's probably meddling in things that he shouldn't be. You know, some kind of treasure. Yes. So, and if we know things about mysterious treasures that haven't been found for a long time, they should be left well enough alone. I mean, look at what Pendragon did. You know. But after his stay with Umbra on the Lagoon of Whispers, he began exploring the Sea of Thieves, appearing on various islands over the past few months. First it was Mermaid's Hideaway, then Kraken's Fall. He'd wandered his way into Wanda's workshop before recently moving to Old Salt's Atoll, where he sits currently. She's very sad without Duke now. She is, and I kind of feel sorry for you. You can hear it kind of in the dialogue that she talks about. You go and listen to that, it just kind of makes you feel sad. You're like, oh, I want to go bring him to you now. You know. But yeah, for the keen adventurer that has been seeking him out each time, you can have a quick chat with the drunken pirate, and he would reveal details of his adventures and the breadcrumb trail of clues that he's discovered and left behind for us to follow him. Now, these clues are both verbal and physical, ranging from things that he's said to us in the dialogue to the mysterious stone tablets. Now, these are weird appearing, you know, just kind of in random places. Like, ever since he was at Kraken Fall, wasn't it? It was Kraken's Fall, the first lot. They just kind of started popping up, didn't they? Yeah, and they're now they're particularly interesting because they each contain vague descriptions of skeleton runes with a few hints for us to match together as to what these runes might mean. Some of the runes we already knew, like we could see that mostly because they're in the that book. I don't remember the tall tale. What was the tall tale that has the skeleton runes in it? Because we built our compendium, basically started from what we were told in that book. But yeah, we already knew some of these, so they were quite easy to break down. But some of them are still unknown to us. We can speculate and we can kind of think about the hints. He talks now, it seems. Yeah, right, because he didn't have like vocal audio much, did he? It was mostly just like the hello and the goodbye. But now he kind of says some things, right? I remember him saying new things like audibly, not so much. We got some players coming. That's that salute from earlier, isn't it? I think so. But he's got like an audio, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he says something like not so much in the... There he is. Not so much in the... you cheeky bugger. I love it. So this is Sea of Thieves at its finest right here, guys. You never know what's going to happen. No matter what you're doing, something's always going to happen. Revenge from the Morning Star. Right. Yeah, it's the Revenge from the Morning Star. Yeah. But yeah, that's where we built our compendium. That's where it initially started. Yeah. And from there, we've just kind of started building it based on the hints that Duke's been giving us, the runes that have been lying around at the, what is it, the Reaper's Hideout. You know, you've got like the Pirates for All Eternity. I wonder what they're getting up to down there, and they're probably doing their Athenas. Good on them. But anyway, as I was saying, before I ramble on too much, I've got to make sure I don't do that. But yeah, these audio cues, the verbal, the physical, clues, ranging from things that he says to us in dialogue to the mysterious tone tablets that have been popping up. Now, we know some of these, we don't know some of these, but we're always keeping our eyes peeled both in-game and out of game because, as some of you may or may not know, the Sea of Thieves Twitter, Reddit, even on the Spotify, they've been hinting little pieces. You know, they've been showing us little runes like the infamous mermaid picture where you've got the mermaid symbol, the rune of the mermaid on the chest of the mermaid, and then the S looking one that was in the sky. So things like that have been popping up. Some of them have been getting really tricky lately, although they have been quite quiet. which is really disappointing. I've been having a lot of fun. You know, it's kind of quieting down with the runes that they've been teasing. So, but yeah, we put clues together, we discuss, and we still can't be sure what Duke is up to. You know, we don't quite know what it all means, but it has been a whole lot of fun talking about it, which is why it's like, hell, we're going to stream talking about it, you know? Like we love it. We love discussing it. We love chatting with the students and the researchers and stuff there in the university. And we're just trying to piece together all of the clues and speculate on what might be happening. Like, God knows what happened there. What do you think, Skulliah? Do you reckon he got too close to the dangerous waters? We are writing a report. Yes, that's right. That'll go up on the website. To elaborate on that, it's going to have basically everything that we've discussed, all of our theories, everything that turned out wrong, everything that turned out like it might be correct. It'll all be included, and it'll all be written up. But yeah, like that kind of really closes that first area there. Like Duke has been up to some mysterious stuff, and that's kind of where we're left, I think. You know, what the hell's he been up to? We can't wait to find out, in all personal honesty. I'm sure there's plenty of theories out there, and we'd love to hear, and we can talk about that in the discussion just after this. So right now, I'll close for YouTube. You can follow along with all of our research and discoveries over at themerfolkslullaby.com. I'm sure Skulliah will be able to put a link in the chat for you. And also on Twitter. We're on Twitter. I'm sure Skulliah could probably share that one with you as well. But yeah, so guys, on YouTube, this is where we will close up for those watching us later down the line. Thank you for joining us. We'll put all of those links that we've mentioned into the description below, as they would say. I'm going to take a short intermission from this